The Straw Hat Crew's individual peak attractiveness periods. From their beginnings until now, the Straw Hat Pirates have experienced a lot, and their appearances have undergone significant changes. Of course, in terms of looks, they each have their own prime. Considering both art style and portrayal, when were the peak attractiveness periods for each Straw Hat member? Sanji's peak attractiveness period seems undisputed, from Alabasta to Enies Lobby. During this time, Sanji's aura was truly ethereal. In Alabasta, as the sole piece that could turn the tide for the team, he outmaneuvered Crocodile and Mr. Two. When he quietly lit a cigarette with Smoker, that confident profile was incredibly cool. In Skypiea, after saving Usopp and Nami, he stood on the Ark, vowing victory against Enel, lighting a cigarette just for that one spark. In Water 7, only a real man can forgive a woman's lies. This elevated Sanji's character. His silhouette and flame appearing in the darkness of the station, Sanji always one step ahead of everyone, even outpacing CP9. When the breeze ruffled his golden hair, what is cool? This man gave the answer at that moment. Though he didn't intercept CP9 midway, he brought hope to both allies and enemies, affirming, "We will definitely rescue our comrade, never giving up." With his crew and captain behind him, Sanji made his entrance on Enies Lobby as Mr. Prince, especially that scene where he flipped his cigarette. Utterly cool. During this period, Sanji truly embodied the essence of a prince. Next, Zoro's peak was during Enies Lobby and Thriller Bark. Zoro's art style changed quite significantly over time. At Enies Lobby, One Piece's overall style had matured and stabilized, but Zoro still retained much of his youthful charm alongside his composure and tenacity. This combination was particularly appealing, best exemplifying Zoro as the most reliable presence by the captain's side. Coupled with Zoro's personal moments like taking the lead on the sea train, stylishly overcoming obstacles at the front. The justice you bear might be heavy, but we too have a mission we can't abandon. When crewmates hesitated, only Zoro dared to block the doorway, standing firm from the perspective of the captain and the entire pirate crew, upholding principles. On Thriller Bark, he again set aside his dream, silently bearing all the captain's fatigue and pain. Perhaps Kuma's test was improvised, but Zoro truly went in with the resolve to die. In the end, just a short phrase, nothing happened. This period also solidified Zoro's role as the de facto first mate. Actually, Zoro's attractiveness has always been quite stable. Although his neck got thicker after the time skip, the period from Punk Hazard to Dress Rosa was also a peak for Zoro's looks. On Punk Hazard, where no beast doesn't bite, his presence dominated. The suited thug on Dress Rosa, the moment he removed his bandana after victory, Zoro's coolness has always been consistent. Nami's peak attractiveness period was from Zoo to Whole Cake Island. If before the time skip Nami was a lively young girl, after 2 years she became a graceful young lady. During Zoo and Whole Cake Island, Nami revealed both the vulnerability of a girl and the aura of a boss lady. For instance, on Zoo, seeing Luffy and tearfully hugging him, we hadn't seen such a Nami before. She also showed the presence of a mafia boss's woman, like her assertiveness when negotiating with Bege on Whole Cake Island. During this period, Nami's sexy outfits were one after another. The purple dress on Zoo made her look like a princess, youthful and beautiful. The red dress on Whole Cake Island was powerful and capable. Moreover, Nami changed her hairstyle 5 times in these 2 arcs to complement her beauty. Loose long hair on Zoo, twin tails entering Tato Land, braided updo before and after the tea party, a big ponytail during the escape, and finally letting her hair down but keeping the braid when retreating. Each hairstyle presented a different type of Nami. Although Nami has always been beautiful, this period showcased her beauty in the most diverse ways. Robin's peak attractiveness period is all arcs after the time skip. Robin's art style has also changed significantly, from mysterious and aloof early on to cheerful and gentle later. Personally, I prefer post-time skip Robin in terms of looks, because Robin with the big swept-back hair is truly stunning. Robin's aesthetic advantages are maxed out. The coolness on Fishman Island, the dark humor on Punk Hazard, the gentleness in Dress Rosa, the cuteness on Zoo, the allure in Wano, the sexiness on Egghead Island. Who knew Robin's attractiveness could encompass so many styles? As Robin found herself surrounded by this group of companions, she could truly be herself. After all, it was like a rebirth. Robin during this period is undeniably beautiful. Chopper's peak attractiveness period was Skypiea to Enies Lobby. It feels like Chopper was cutest before the time skip, especially in Skypiea. That little demeanor of being clearly scared but bravely fighting to not let his crewmates down was truly adorable. On Enies Lobby, when he and Luffy were in awe of Soja King, Chopper even asked for an autograph, which was quite funny. He became the most gullible member of the Straw Hat crew, but Enies Lobby was also the first time Chopper fought with all his might and courage. Cuteness and bravery coexisted, finally resulting in that angry 50 belly bounty. So Chopper's most iconic image has always been the pink hat and short pants. Usopp's peak attractiveness period was Dressrosa. After 2 years of training, Usopp clearly became more upright. Exercise can indeed transform a person. Add to that the shot that turned the tide in Dressrosa, it's enough to be one of Usopp's coolest moments. Of course, it wasn't just the action that was cool. Usopp's impressive image in Dressrosa dominated many big and small scenes. The 5-star God Usopp poster, even Luffy and Zoro didn't get such treatment. Look at Usopp's spirit, his determined gaze, tall and proud. It could be called Usopp's coolest photo. In terms of physique, post-time skip Usopp was already much cooler, but when physique, action, belief, and a stroke of rare luck all came together, Dressrosa created the coolest Usopp. Franky's peak attractiveness period was Dressrosa to Zoo. In Dressrosa, during the fight with Senor Pink, after Franky's eyes were injured, he crawled out of the rubble with his eyes glowing red. This was Franky's coolest scene. When fighting the female factory manager, as they were in a stalemate, Franky didn't hesitate and directly kissed her to gain the upper hand. Although perverted, it was also a kind of coolness. During the Zoo period, Franky looked quite handsome because he switched to a tough guy slicked back hairstyle. This is one of the few normal hairstyles in Franky's repertoire of dozens. Without the exaggerated hairstyle, Franky indeed looked cooler. Brook's peak attractiveness period, as an old bag of bones, how could his looks change? I couldn't think of anything all day. After all, he's been like this for 50 years. But if we can't judge by looks, let's look at aura. Brook's coolest moments should be Whole Cake Island and Onigashima. Who else could solo against Emperor Big Mom? The Soul King came to perform solo. With just a guitar, he stood firm against the 3 homies, winning the MVP of Tatoland. On Onigashima, although Brook didn't have a specific opponent to face, he looked particularly cool when supporting Robin. Every move was casual yet graceful. Although his face might not have a peak period, his posture certainly had some very impressive moments. All along, Jinbe's appearance has changed the least. He barely even changed clothes before and after the time skip. If we had to choose Jinbe's coolest period, it would be on Whole Cake Island. The moment when he, a mere warlord, withstood Big Mom's Napoleon sword and punched her so hard she miscarried, that was truly legendary. As for Luffy's coolest period, Luffy is special. It doesn't seem right to divide it into periods, because most of the time Luffy can go from silly to cool in an instant. But Luffy has many cool moments, especially when he lowers his hat brim. Whenever Luffy lowers his hat and his face darkens, it means Luffy is angry and getting serious. Enemies should be careful. So Luffy is the most impressive. While others have concentrated peak periods, only Luffy can suddenly be cool amidst constant goofiness. Therefore, Luffy could be said to have his own peak attractiveness moment in every arc.